What's up, my comic comrades? This week, another Marvel character will join the MCU and make their live-action debut when Ms. Marvel premieres on Disney+. So it's time to take a look at our comic book roots and get you prepped for where they might take the character on the big and small screen. Marvel Comics has actually been revamping many of the characters that Marvel Studios is set to introduce into the MCU, and in some cases even tying them together in new ways as if to set the stage for some of what's to come. Marvel's upcoming Judgment Day event is a good example of this, which connects the Eternals, X-Men, and Avengers. Or how about Peter David's upcoming new Fantastic Four miniseries that brings together Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine, and Ghost Rider as the new team? Well, Ms. Marvel is getting the same treatment with a series of one-shots this summer in which she will be paired with Wolverine, Moon Knight, and Venom. All characters who were either recently introduced into the MCU, or in the case of Wolverine, is about to be. So we're very curious to see where they take Ms. Marvel and what role she'll play in the broader story. And since we mentioned Peter David's new Fantastic Four title, our good friend Comic Tom partnered with Marvel to release an awesome variant cover of issue 1 by artist Alex Maleev for his June Mystery Mail Call subscription. We've talked about the Mystery Mail Call many times in the past. It's our comic subscription of choice, and that's because Tom and his team have really put together what we think is the best comic subscription service out there. This month's MMC exclusive new Fantastic Four 1 variant is a prime example of just that. When you subscribe to the Mystery Mail Call, every month you get a new box with an assortment of 4 to 6 comics from the Bronze, Silver, and or Modern Age, including at least one exclusive and a chance at landing the big key book of the month. For example, the big key for June is Amazing Spider-Man 50, the iconic Spider-Man No More issue with the first appearance of Kingpin. So if you're a comic fan and or collector, we cannot recommend Comic Tom's Mystery Mail Call enough. June 15th is the cutoff to get in the June box with this dope new Fantastic Four issue 1 exclusive, so go to comictom101.com to get subscribed. I will say the subscription is US shipping only, but if you're international, you could follow them on Whatnot for a chance at the last chance MMC box shipped internationally through Whatnot during each month's box assembly. Tom is also a freaking great dude who treats people right and has a great YouTube channel of his own. Again, it's comictom101.com. Check him out. But now let's jump into Marvel Comics and get the origin of Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel first appeared in Captain Marvel issue 14 in August of 2013, and while most characters have 2 or 3 co-creators, believe it or not, she has 6. G. Willow Wilson, Adrian Alphona, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Scott Hepburn, Sana Amanat, and Saladin Ahmed. Like I said a moment ago, Kamala Khan's first appearance was in Captain Marvel, although it was a cameo appearance and she literally just appeared in one panel while Captain Marvel was fighting a bad guy on page 5. But since this is an origin episode, you may be asking, how did she become Ms. Marvel? Well, essentially, Carol Danvers, the original Ms. Marvel, took on the mantle of Captain Marvel. The Ms. Marvel spot needed to be filled. Enter Kamala Khan, who was given her own series in 2014 as part of the all-new Marvel Now initiative. And we see just how she becomes the new Ms. Marvel over the course of the first 5 issues of said series. In issue 1 of the series, we learn Kamala Khan is the youngest of 2 children from a traditional Pakistani family that happens to live in New Jersey. In the opening pages of the issue, we are also introduced to her 2 best friends, Nakia and Bruno, who works at a nearby convenience store. In any case, at the dinner table, she asks her father if she can go to a party that night, and he shares his concerns and turns her down. To which she replies, "If I was a boy, you'd let me go to the party. May I be excused?" He yells at her saying, "You are excused. Straight to your room and stay there until you find your manners." She then leaves saying fine and locks herself in her room before sneaking out to go to said party. At the party, a jock named Josh gives her a vodka orange juice, unknown to her, which she spits out as they laugh at her, with her girl named Zoe saying, "Ugh, Kamala, no offense, but you smell like curry. I'm gonna stand somewhere else." Her friend Bruno then says, "What the heck is wrong with you, Josh?" He replies, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Goodwill Hunting is getting defensive." At which point Bruno takes Kamala away, but she doesn't appreciate him helping her out, saying, "You're embarrassing me. I don't need your help. I'm not some child." To which he replies, "I just don't want you to end up in trouble." Kamala replies, "God, you sound just like my parents. Too bad you're not Pakistani. Otherwise, they totally throw me at you." At this point, she storms out of the party and starts walking home as everyone at the party and in the city is hit with the mysterious mist, the Terrigen Mist. If you didn't know, the Terrigen Mist was created by an Inhuman geneticist and accelerates genetic advances. Essentially, when humans come in contact with it, it gives them superpowers. And on Kamala's walk home, she comes into contact with it, and once it hits her, it causes her to faint on the sidewalk. A beam of light then hits her as the mist surrounds her with the voice saying, wake up, Betty." Disoriented, she says, "Who turned on the light?" as Captain Marvel starts talking to her in Urdu, accompanied by Captain America and Iron Man. She then looks up and says, "Captain America? Iron Man? Captain Marvel? You speak Urdu? Captain Marvel replies, we are faith. We speak all languages of beauty and hardship. Kamala says, okay then, I'm totes hallucinating. I must be ultra drunk. Iron Man tells her, you are seeing what you need to see. You stand at a crossroads. Captain America then says, you thought if you disobeyed your parents, your culture, your religion, your classmates would accept you. What happened instead? She replies, they laughed at me. Kamala then explains to the three heroes that she didn't sneak out because she doesn't like her culture or family or thinks that they're dumb. She says, I grew up here. I'm from Jersey City, not Karachi. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know who I'm supposed to be. Captain Marvel asks, what do you want to be? She explains, I want to be you, except I would wear the classic politically incorrect costume and kick butt in giant wedged heels. Captain Marvel replies, you must have some kind of weird boot fetish. All right, kid, as fate would have it, you're about to get the kind of total reboot most people only dream about. But can I tell you something? It's not going to turn out the way you think. Good luck, Kamala Khan. And as they disappear into the mist, Kamala says, wait, where are you going? Iron Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, anybody? Next we see her within a black shell saying, what the? Oh no, oh no, oh no, I'm trapped in a cocoon? Help! Help me! She then punches her way out and says, what is this? Is it too late to change my mind? As we see, she's changed into the classic Carol Danvers Miss Marvel. Then in issue 2, we see her freaking out at the beginning saying, wake up, Kamala, wake up, wake up. Oh man, I'm gonna puke. As we see her turn back into her normal self briefly before shapeshifting back into Carol Danvers Miss Marvel. And as she starts running, she finds her body in constant flux of changing. We basically learn that the Terrigen Mist turned her into a polymorph, which gives her the ability to stretch her body in almost any way possible. What I'm saying is she essentially has the same abilities as Mr. Fantastic. So that's why she's able to look like Carol Danvers, although she hasn't learned how to control it yet. Anyway, in the issue, as fate would have it, we see her use her newfound powers to save Zoe, the girl who was making fun of her earlier. Zoe had fallen into a lake and Kamala stretched out and grew her hand to make it essentially a giant shovel to lift her out of the lake and back onto the dock. Bystanders saw this and said, oh my god, your old costume, it looks great. Can we get your autograph? Kamala says, I gotta go, as she tries to shrink her hand back to normal size, which she eventually is able to do. Towards the end of the issue, we see she's back in her room and stares at a Captain Marvel poster saying, this has to have happened for a reason. I saved one life. Does it stop there or do I go on? Maybe this is what I've been waiting for. Maybe I'm finally part of something bigger. In issue 3, we see Kamala at school struggling with adjusting to her newfound powers. Then after school, she visits Circle Q, where her friend Bruno works, and she sees he's being held at gunpoint. She then grabs her phone to call 911, but it's dead, so she instead thinks to herself, wait a minute, I have superpowers. I saved somebody's life on Friday. She then says aloud, I am 911. She then bursts inside, shapeshifted into Captain Marvel, saying, put the gun down and step away from the cashier. You want to be hipster punk? And while holding the thief with her giant hand, he says, you're squeezing really hard. She says, I'll put you down if you promise to leave and never come back again. He tells her, I promise. But when she lets him go, he shoots her in the stomach. And just like that, we have a cliffhanger for issue 3. The first few pages of issue 4 lead us to believe that Kamala is seriously hurt, but while Bruno is on the phone calling an ambulance, she says, Bruno, it's me. No, listen. It's me. It's Kamala. As she returns back to her normal self, she says, I'm fine. I'm healed. As soon as I went back into my regular self, I healed. This is amazing. Bruno then says, this is weird. She pulls the bullet out of the back of her pants, saying, ta-da! He puts 2 and 2 together, saying, does this mean you saved Zoe after the party the other night? That was your picture all over the news. I can't believe you didn't tell me about any of this. She says, I'm sorry, Bruno, but I was mad at you for ratting me out to my parents. And this whole power thing hasn't exactly been easy. After this, Kamala learns that Bruno's younger brother has been kidnapped by a villain called the Inventor. So she makes herself a makeshift costume and tries to get Bruno's brother back. But obviously she's not experienced at all in this and finds herself in way over her head when she eventually finds his brother. The story picks up in issue 5, where we see she's barely able to escape with her life, let alone rescue Bruno's brother Vic. But now she knows where Bruno's brother is and starts training with Bruno's help to get better at being a hero so she could save his brother. Bruno even makes it so that Kamala's costume stretches with her. She would then paint her famous yellow lightning bolt on her costume and go back out with Bruno to try to save his brother again. While she doesn't do it with ease, she's definitely a lot better than the first go around. The book then ends with her talking about the Inventor saying to a group of people gathered at a street corner, this guy thinks he can threaten us where we live. Miss Marvel has a message for him. This is Jersey City. We talk loud, we walk fast, and we don't take any disrespect. Don't mess. And just like that, we have the origins of how Kamala Khan became Miss Marvel. So with her origin out of the way, let's move on to powers and abilities. As I briefly mentioned, her main ability is she's a polymorph, meaning she can stretch her body in basically any way she can think of. Much like Mr. Fantastic and Plastic Man, she could also use this to increase or decrease her size to both tiny proportions or gigantic proportions. We actually see in issue 5 of this series that she made herself about 12 inches tall to get through a hole in a gate to save Bruno's brother. She also uses this polymorph ability to shapeshift. She can mold her body any way she wants. And she has a good healing factor, as we saw when she got shot. She just healed when she shapeshifted back to her normal self. As for her weaknesses, the power of an electromagnetic pulse can cause her to temporarily lose her powers, which she learned the hard way when she was fighting the inventor. Overall, it looks like her power set is going to be totally different in the live action series, and we're especially curious to see if her wrist bracelet is going to be similar technology as the 10 rings we saw introduced in the MCU Shang-Chi. But we'll have to wait and see on that. For now, let's check out some reading recommendations. As for reading recommendations, check out Miss Marvel Volume 1 No Normal, Miss Marvel Volume 2 Generation Y, and Miss Marvel Army of One. That should be enough to get you all started. And that's gonna bring today's episode to a close. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one right here. And if you like all of our videos, subscribe, like, and comment, you know the deal. Other than that, I'll see you next time when I talk about all things comics.